ठीक है।
Good day, folks. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have with us Ehtisham Tahir. Led a very interesting journey. Actually, did not come to the direct route, but went to US first and then landed into Canada. And then afterwards joined with PwC and doing some amazing things. So let's get started. So Ehtisham, if you can get started by telling us a little bit about yourself first.
Saad bhai. So as you said, Ehtisham Tahir, I'm a senior manager within our risk assurance, basically also the digital risk assurance services at PwC. I've actually been with PwC all my journey, so I don't know a lot about what the outside market is like. So straight out of university, joined the US PwC firm, worked there for about 2 years. Then came here on a secondment for 2 years, actually. My brother was studying in Waterloo at that time. When I came to Canada at that time, the quality of life seemed well, and my parents definitely encouraged both of us to be in one place because they were first traveling to the US and then coming to Canada. So uh, everything kind of felt right at that time. So I, at that point, decided to stay, and now it's been about 7 years in Canada now.
Amazing. So what did you go to school for? What did you study at school?
I actually studied finance in school, so very different to what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But my bachelor's was in finance with a minor in accounting.
So how did this transition come about, like from accounting and finance to your digital transformation?
Yeah, so it's a funny journey, Saad bhai, and a big believer of destiny and how life kind of works in its own ways. I was actually headed to my accounting class, and PwC had a very small booth outside of just the auditorium where we were supposed to go to class for. A friend of mine is like, distract the recruiter, I'll grab some donuts for the class. I start chatting with the recruiter, and I'm like, you have any finance opportunities? She's like, no. I'm like, you're a consulting firm, aren't you? How come you don't have? Long story short, she writes me a opportunity number. She says, go apply because now the line is forming. As I'm sitting in the class, I apply and get an interview call. The conversation, just like with the recruiter, it was, I think, a senior manager at that time, the one person I spoke with, Greg, I still remember his name. We just had a really good conversation. We clicked off. He said, like everybody calls me ET at work and school. He said, ET really likes you. In the next 30 minutes, he said, I want to refer you to our New York office. Would you be okay in relocating? As a young finance professional, I did not wish for anything else. Immediately said yes. Um, Landed at PwC in the New York office, and they put me on the IT audit job. And I was like, guys, like, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Like, yes, I'm in New York, but I have nothing, I know nothing about IT or like, yes, audit, but like nothing on IT audit. They said, yeah, yeah, we know you're for finance. You just do it, like, for the first, like, this 6 months of your internship. When you come back, we'll give you more finance related role and finance related jobs, but this is the need right now. I did that for 6 months. I turned that into a full-time position, came back, and from that was the start. That finance role that they promised me never came. And as I continued working in it, I realized that there were more opportunities. Even at that time, I was thinking about exit opportunities. So all my friends who were leaving from finance roles to the market were getting around 70K. And those with the IT background or IT roles were getting 80K. I was like, okay, great. In 2 years, I'm going to leave the firm. I want to be at the 80K mark. So let me continue on that. And then ever since that was the start, and it very much evolved since then, but that was the start, and I'm grateful for that opportunity that came about.
So what did you so in IT audit, where did you start off from, and what are you doing currently? Like, what is your day-to-day role entail on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis now?
So when I started in IT audit, it was your regular testing, right? So what is sometimes the IT audit is a bit of a confusing term for those who are not necessarily in the audit. There's a financial statement audit, but financial statement audit uses a lot of different systems to generate those numbers. You need assurance that those systems are operating effectively, and that is where your IT audit teams comes in, who actually gives you an opinion over those accuracy and completeness over those systems. And when I was actually as a part of the audit team, I was just looking at, the person who are supposed to have admin or super user access, were they approved? The changes that are being made to the system, are they tested appropriately? Are they proper sign-offs and such. So just your basic, going through the ticket, getting the ticket information, making sure that, yo, there's a sign-off, there is the QA done, all of that's being done. But what that helped me was understand how this whole risk environment works and why is it important, and what could, if those minute steps of approvals, or what is super user. I didn't even know what a super user was at that time,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
that role, because I was doing the literally the groundwork, looking at the tickets, that taught me of all these accounting basics, the difference between application, database, operating layer. As a finance person, I had no idea of those. So
Mm.
that helped me get that understanding. And now I'm actually part of our cybersecurity controls and emerging risks team that developed my risk base, which I was able to transition across my journey at PwC. It's been close to about next year will be my 10th year at PwC. And I have my role has consistently evolved. And perhaps this is why I'm still at the firm for 10 years, that every few years I do something completely different. Um, I've been part of your operational resilience teams. I've been part of your financial statement audit team. I've been part of your SOC audit, like reporting teams. So every few years, my role evolves. But that risk and controls base has helped me evolve. So coming back to the point where I'm now, cybersecurity controls and emerging risks, where I actually help organizations understand what their current cybersecurity posture is, how they can actually improve, considering your current threat landscapes and the threats that are relevant to the organization as well.
Interesting, very interesting. So, in terms of how AI has impacted all our jobs and everywhere, it's kind of like
Yeah,
making a lot of impact. How do you see it impacting, or is it likely to make an impact in our lifetimes, or is it already making an impact? What are your thoughts?
I think, Sadhbhai, it's already making an impact on our lifetimes, right? Especially at PwC, we've been kind of really big at pushing AI. So we were a Google shop primarily, and ever since AI came, it kind of skyrocketed our transition to Microsoft. Overnight, we moved everything from Google to Microsoft, and now Copilot is enabled on all of our services.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's obviously there's a bit of a hesitation as a user, when you're using it for the first time. But once you start using it for small tasks, I'll give you an example, right? Like sometimes you have to share an organization-wide email, and you are sitting there thinking, oh, what should I say? Is my tone right? Am I using the right words? Those all mundane things you can throw at Copilot, and it gives you responses in like minutes,
Yeah.
right? So that
Yeah.
is from a user experience perspective. I'm listening to some of the board conversations, right? And they are constantly asking the question of the right value for AI, because they don't necessarily want to go all in and kind of inherit all of the risk, but at the same time, they don't want to be the laggers as well, where the industry takes a leap and they still. So AI definitely on top of mind for everyone that is out there. And for me, what's happening right now is what we are working is on industry enhancements, right? What are the different AI services that we are offering? Because with AI, it comes with a risk. The other day, I'll share a client example. They came to me with a list of all these different AI engines. They said, ET, this is the traffic of our organizations. And as you can see, you've got this tool, this tool, this tool. How can we control or make sure that none of our confidential data is leaking through all these engines?
Hmm.
So AI is definitely very much as a part of our life. There's going to be so many more new services that you're going to see in the market, but whether it's going to be security related or the use case basis as well. But it's definitely here to
It's there.
stay.
We're here to stay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One last question for you, Ehtisham, and that is that for anybody who's making a transition or wants to make a transition into your field, what is it that you would recommend them to do? I mean, like I know you came from a bachelor's of accounting background, but that may not be the path that everybody might take. But for those people, what would you recommend?
I think, Sadhbhai, having an open mind, and that's what I tell everyone or a new graduate that is kind of out there. Exploring the possibilities of unknown, I think, is the really key, because sometimes, like, when we come from a certain background or a certain mindset, we are very set in our ways. Like when I was in college, I thought I'll have my CFA and I'll be working as a financial analyst for investment firm. And I did appear for my CFA level 1 because at that time that was the plan. Unless I had opened myself to the opportunity of giving IT audit a chance, it wouldn't necessarily have turned into this wonderful career for me that it has now. A lot of us that come, they have had some sort of an experiences, and some of them have a lot more. You might not find the same experiences here. So being the possible, like having the possibility to be a bit more open and giving the unknown a chance, I think I would say is definitely one of the key things, and just being positive about it. Not everything is going to be turning out okay on the first try. Being positive, you're going to run into some horrible people along the way, but use those as learnings
We
as well.
hope we hope
Use,
we hope you don't know you don't fall
yeah,
into those
yeah.
ones.
Use those as learnings, and then just stay positive. Use those bad experiences as learnings, and you'll be surprised how much you can learn from those bad experiences as well, instead of just the good ones.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ehtisham, for sparing your time to do this session. I'm hoping that folks who watch this video probably will reach out to you if they have any questions and as follow-ups. So thank you so much for doing this for
Thank you,
today.
Sadhbhai. It was an honor.
Thank you.
Take care.